On day 1, I spawned in a laboratory as Infected Sky. I was captured by the Aviation Complex Industry inside of a device that was linked directly to a warden.
We have finally found the power to kill you and your nasty infection. Flip this switch!
The machine I was in activated, causing bolts of Sculk energy to course through my flesh. But something went wrong. I was transformed into Sculk Infected Sky, becoming way stronger with new abilities.
No, no, no! That wasn't supposed to happen!
Alarms began to blare in the facility as I pounced forward, killing scientist after scientist. I must spread Sculk everywhere! Suddenly, I was interrupted as the Aviation Complex military arrived in the room. They shot their weapons at me, but it was doing no damage whatsoever. I'm way stronger now. Is that all you got?
Bad news for you, pest! We have the perfect weakness for Sculk! Bring out the big guns!
2 latches opened above the general as 2 deadly military mechs dropped in.
Sculk spotted!
The 2 of them blasted out pure beams of light right at me, and as it hit my flesh, I dropped down to half a heart. Ugh, if I don't get out of here, I'm done for! On day 2, I burst up to the surface, and after looking around, I saw I was in the middle of a large city. This is the perfect place to spread my new infection. However, one of the mechs followed behind and blasted right at me. Whoa!
Finish the job!
I hopelessly ran through the streets as more military men entered from all angles. Beams of lights shot all around me, and there were soldiers everywhere.
Eyes on the monster!
I don't stand a chance against these guys. What do I do? Just then, a mysterious voice rang out in my head.
If you want to live, listen to me!
What the? Who said that? Before the voice answered, a strange Sculk passageway opened up before my very eyes.
Follow it!
How do I know I can trust you?
I think it went this way!
With no other choice, I listened to the voice and headed into the tunnel. Once on the other side, I was met with a large room with a mysterious Sculk fragment high up at its center. Whoa, what's this? On day 3, I walked forward and collected the Sculk fragment. As I did, the entire room around me came to life. Sculk tentacles rose out all around, and my body began to burst out a power like no other. I grew larger, gained 5 more hearts, and now had new infection abilities. Whoa. The voice then rang in my head again.
These Sculk fragments hold a power like no other. If you manage to find all 6 of them, you will grow to an immeasurable strength.
As the voice said this, explosions went off around the room, revealing 2 military soldiers that found me.
Target spotted.
They ran in to shoot at me with their weapons. However, I shot out my newest Sculk ability right at them.
What's happening?
In a matter of seconds, they were infected, transforming them into Sculk parasites. Whoa, if these fragments make me stronger, then I gotta find the rest to fight against that military. Then, this entire city will fall to my infection. By the way, who are you in my head?
I am your hunger for power. Now, feast!
My new Sculk parasites and I exited, only to find ourselves in the middle of a neighborhood. Alright minions, time to spread and find the next fragment. On day 4, my Sculk infection spread all throughout the streets. My minions took down person by person with ease, as I was searching for any sign of the next fragment. However, our party was cut short, as a large fighter jet flew in above us.
Oh, great, there's more of them. Preparing for the next attack.
It rained down explosions overhead, easily destroying my Sculk. Uh-oh, it flew in, taking down both of my minions before my very eyes. Hey, I tried to fight back against the jet. However, my powers weren't able to reach them.
You're gonna need to be much stronger if you want to stand a chance against us. Drop in the K9!
The jet's doors opened as a large deadly K9 unit fell on the streets in front of me. He ran in and began to slash at me with its sharp claws, and in a single hit, almost depleted all of my health. I gotta get out of here! I knew I couldn't stand a chance against the dog, So I tried to dart away from it. However, he was much faster than I was and was gaining on me fast. He jumped over me, cutting me off. And with another slash, my vision started to fade. On day 5, I awoke trapped in a cage, and after looking around, I saw I was in a lab. Hey, let me out of here!
Ah, the testing subject has awoken. I will take your DNA, and you will be not used to me anymore. Ha ha ha!
The scientist left as I tried to blast my way out of the cell walls. However, the technology was just too enhanced. It didn't even budge. Oh man, I gotta get out of here.
Maybe I can help with that.
I turned around to see in the cage with me was an infected bike? What the?
Yep, they captured me. But because of your Sculk infections, I have come to life. I'll do anything I can to repay you for it.
Whoa, weird. Can you get us out of here? The infected bike rang his bell as he squeezed through the cell bars because of his size. Within seconds, our cell was opened. Sweet. Now, come on, we gotta get out of here. The two of us began to sneak our way out of the lab as there were highly armored mechs walking all around taking guard. Thankfully, with the bike's help, we were able to make it back up to the surface. Once there, I looked around, only to see we were on a secluded island with the Statue of Liberty. They really wanted us away from that city, huh? Before we could leave, though, alarms blared off all around us as walls with turrets rose to block our escape.
Oh no!
The jet from before flew in, angrier than ever.
That's it. Forget capturing you. I'm just gonna kill you instead.
On day 6, the Air Force jet flew in and blasted the two of us towards the statue. Yeah! He's too strong. We gotta find a way off this island.
How?
He flew in again to blast us down with explosions. However, I dodged and began to scale the statue. This way! The bike followed after me as the two of us began to parkour off of various platforms and debris. It wasn't easy though, because the jet continued to blast out platforms all around us. Whoa!
You piss are so done for.
I thought we weren't gonna make it until I heard another whisper in the air. Huh? Looking up, I saw there on the statue's torch was another Sculk fragment. Those suckers. They brought me right to another one. The jet blasted me again. However, I timed my jump so that the explosion launched me high above. I landed right on the Sculk fragment, and as I collected it, I grew stronger once again. I was now way taller with large, sharp claws, had 5 more hearts, and new Sculk infecting abilities.
Well, that's not good.
I blasted out an even stronger ability right at the jet and was able to hit him this time.
Go! Impact! Mayday! Mayday! Going down!
On days 7 to 8, the jet crashed down onto the ground, making us victorious. From there, I began to blast out my infecting powers all around, claiming the Statue of Liberty under my infection. Ha ha ha! These fragments are great.
They will increasingly get stronger and stronger until one day the whole city will be ours.
Yes, it will.
Who are you talking to?
Nobody. I made it back to the ground, with the bike now on my side.
Consider me your servant. I'll do anything I can to spread your infection.
Finally, someone with common sense. Just then, explosions sounded off as the main military entered the island.
You only took down one of our rookie jets. You have no idea what else we have in store for you.
Missiles began to fire down all around us, and I knew we had to run.
I know the perfect place.
He blasted out a Sculk blast, which opened up a tunnel for us to fall through.
Come on!
After he jumped in, I had no other choice but to follow. On days 9 to 10, the infected bike and I escaped as he led me to a hidden cave under the city. And once we reached an opening, I saw an entire cavern full of Sculk infection. Whoa, what is this place?
This is the safest hideout for any infected. Watch this.
The bike then rode over, and as he got close to the infection, it began to replenish his health in an instant.
Oh yeah, that's the stuff.
Sweet. I can't rest on an empty stomach. Come on. My friend and I were heading back up the tunnels to the surface to get some more food when I started to hear someone ahead of us.
Cowabunga!
I looked up just in time to see that a mutant turtle was skateboarding.
Guys, I found them!
Suddenly, more turtles appeared out of nowhere, completely surrounding us. Hey, step back! I shot out a blast at the nearest one, but they dodged it easily.
Hurry, Mikey!
The skateboarding turtle rushed in and slammed into me, knocking me back. And with this opening, they quickly grabbed my friend and took him away. Hey!
Sorry, but I'm not just gonna let you infecteds tear apart our city.
The turtle threw out an explosive, which caused the tunnel in front of me to collapse. Oh no, I gotta find my friend. On days 11 and 12, I rampaged through the connecting tunnels to hunt down the mutant turtles. They don't know who they're messing with. After some searching, I finally found my way into the city sewers, where I saw them enter a secure door with my radar vision. Hey! I began to rush down the sewer when an explosion went off right behind me. Yeah! They set traps? More explosions and lasers began to shoot out as I angrily continued to rush towards the door, dodging as many as I could. I dashed right up to the door, but as I went to break it down, it just wouldn't budge. No! Another laser shot out of the door, hitting me back into a pile of barrels. And as I did, a strange ooze fell out from one of them. That looks delicious. I quickly ate it, causing me to absorb its radiation and grow stronger. Ha ha ha! I rushed up to the secure door and tore it down with my improved speed, only to see the mutant turtles had put my friend in a cage next to another Sculk fragment.
What the? He took some of the ooze! Get him!
The turtles rushed in to try and take me down as a team, but that just made it easier to blast them all back at once. Rah!
No! You monster! You leave me no choice!
The last turtle ran back towards the Sculk fragment, and as I tried to stop him, the ooze's effect wore off. I then watched as the turtle grabbed the fragment. As he began to change, he was turned into an even stronger mutant turtle.
Dude, run!
I did as he said and tried to run back the way I came, but the turtle was even faster now and spun around in his shell, launching me through a side wall. I landed in a water-filled sewer line, but the turtle came dashing down after me.
You'll pay for killing my brothers!
He started to blast out crazy powerful attacks as I swam around in the water as fast as I could. I can't beat him now. He's too strong. Just then, one of his attacks hit the wall as it began to crack and fall apart. Wait a minute. That gives me an idea. On days 15 to 16, I continued to fight the giant Sculk turtle as he increasingly became angrier and angrier. He rushed in recklessly, allowing me to dodge to the side as he came crashing into the sewer wall. Because of this, a ton of rubble came falling down, nearly taking him out. With him now weak, I unleashed a final Sculk blast, finally taking him down. Yeah! I, from there, collected the next Sculk fragment, causing me to upgrade. I gained 5 more hearts, and now could summon more powerful Sculk tendrils at will.
A little help here?
Oh, right. I made my way back up to the room where my friend was caged and broke him out with ease. You ready to get back to the surface?
Yes, this sewer's making my wheels dry.
I burst my way out of the sewers and noticed that we were now in the middle of Times Square.
What is that?
Everybody, run!
All of the players started to scatter as I used my new ability to tear through the crowd. Ha ha ha!
Clear the way!
Huh? I turned around to see that a group of army soldiers had begun to march into the area. You think I'm scared of a few little guns? But as I said this, a large army tank rolled up behind them. Oh, that's not a little gun. On days 17 to 18, the army tank charged up a missile, aiming right towards me.
Fire at will!
They began to blast at me with everything they had, nearly destroying the square around. You guys say you're protecting the city? I quickly used my tentacles to wipe out the soldiers surrounding the tank, but then it blasted me head on. I knew I had to get close to fight against its armor. But as I rushed in, more soldiers came parachuting down, trying to blast me as well. I was about to blast at them until Infected Bike shot them out of the air from the rooftop.
Woohoo!
Finally, I got my chance to run up and tear into the army tank.
Pull back! Pull back! Retreat!
With that, I was able to completely destroy it. And from the destruction, I saw that an officer had dropped a letter. Important pickup? It would be a shame if someone were to ruin that meeting. On days 19 to 21, I followed the coordinates and found myself at some cliffs on the outskirts of the city. There, a group of soldiers looked up just as a plane flew by overhead and dropped a care package.
Package secure. Now, where's that tank escort?
Oh, that tank is gonna need some repairs, so I'll be taking that Sculk fragment.
Oh no! Stop him!
The other soldiers began to fire at me as I approached, so I took them down with the sonic boom. But as I did, something began to happen in the water nearby. What's that? Rising from the waterline was a massive creature that looked much more powerful than me. Godzilla?
Ha ha! So long, you beast!
The soldier began to flee with the fragment, but before I could cut them off, Godzilla stopped me with his atomic breath.
What are you doing? I am the Alpha Kaiju of this world, not you!
We'll see about that. I began to unleash my Sculk infection towards him, but they barely did a scratch. He hit me head on with another beam, throwing me back and dealing lots of damage.
This creature is too strong for you to fight! For now.
You're right. I unleashed my Sculk tentacles to slow Godzilla down as I ran away as fast as I could. On days 22 to 26, I escaped from Godzilla and ran in the direction where the soldier left. But when I finally caught up to them, they had entered into a military outpost. All kinds of vehicles and weapons were all around, as the place was swarming with patrolling guards. I need a different approach to get to that fragment. I'm dead if I face them all now. As I said this, I saw one lone guard was driving out of the base in his car. Maybe I can try something.
Oh, finally, I get to go home and see my family. Ah!
Sorry, but your shift's not actually over. I blasted the human with my Sculk infection, completely infecting him. My Sculk took over his body, allowing me to take control over him. Whoa! Alright, back to work. With my new disguise, I drove back and entered the military base.
Oh, Bill? I thought you went home for the day.
Nope, I wanted to see that Sculk fragment they recovered.
Alright. Well, they took it down into the bunker, but don't waste your time. They got that thing locked up tight.
Not for long, they don't. On days 27 to 29, I made my way into the underground bunker of the military base. The halls were covered in high tech and all kinds of restricted research. Whoa. I then looked over and watched as a military scientist opened a vault door with his key card. And while the doors were opened, I saw the Sculk fragment was being held there. I gotta get in there. But where do I get a key card?
Yo, come with me! I need some help with this specimen.
Hey, you don't tell me what... yes, sir. I followed the scientist to another chamber where tons of cages had all kinds of monsters locked up.
Specimen 207, the Mothman. We need to relocate him immediately.
Very dangerous, you say?
Da, you can't even stand near the bars or it will tear you apart.
Interesting. With that, I punched the scientist closer to the cage.
What are you? Ah!
As he was taken care of, I noticed he dropped his key card. Nice teamwork. Just then, though, the scientist's scream had caught the attention of the other soldiers.
Hey, what's going on in here?
I don't have time for this. I ran over and flipped the switch, causing all of the cages in the room to open.
I'm free!
No! No!
On days 30 to 32, while the monster distracted the soldiers, I went back to the vault and opened it with my newly acquired keycard. There, in a large central containment structure, was the next Sculk fragment.
Yes, we must grow.
Hey, what are you doing here?
Huh? I looked over and saw a few other scientists were still running tests. Oh, I just wanted to, but before I could say anything else, the human body I possess became so corrupt that I changed into a Sculk parasite.
No, it's one of them! Hurry, destroy the fragment!
One of the scientists flipped a switch, causing the orb to fill with lava? No! I rushed into action, using my smaller form to try and weave around the scientists in my path, until one of them shocked me with an electric blast. Yeah!
Keep him there! Don't let him get the fragment!
They all began to lay into me with multiple electric blasts, which shocked me right in place.
Feed! Must feed!
I desperately summoned my Sculk tentacles around me, which killed all of the scientists! Rah! With that, I blasted open the orb and grabbed the Sculk fragment. As I did, my power began to surge with infection as I started to grow back to my monstrous form. On days 33 to 35, I broke out of the ground in the middle of the military base in my newly upgraded form. The soldiers around started to panic as I unleashed a newly upgraded Sculk beam all throughout their base. Rah!
What is going on here?
I looked over and noticed that the general of the army had come running out.
Men, blast that beast into pieces!
Under the general's command, the army's attacks were much more focused, as all of their artillery was starting to take a toll on my hearts. Yeah, I need to get out of here. I used my beam to blast a hole in the gate as I rushed out of the base. The Air Force flew out, sending some of their jets after me to finish the job. So I had to think quickly and use my Sculk beam into the ground to burrow down and escape. After safely escaping the military forces, I returned to the Sculk Infected Cavern under the city. There, I rested up and used the infection to bring me back to full health.
Whoa, those humans really did a number on you. What are you gonna do?
I just need to get stronger, spread more. Then I'll make them pay for trying to stop me. As I said this, I began to sense something.
Another fragment! It is near!
Show me where. I went back above ground and followed my senses to the highway where I saw that car. It has the next fragment.
Ooh, I love this song! What the? Ah!
I rushed after the car on the highway as it began to swerve and dodge my attacks. Get back here! On days 36 to 39, the car with the fragment began to go around the highway intersection, trying to use the exit roads to get away. I blasted the exits to keep it close and on the wide road, but the driver wasn't giving up easily.
I don't want to die! I don't want to die!
I slammed down, causing the ground to crack up, which made the car fly over and crash.
Please, please, I'm just the delivery driver! Don't kill me!
You make a good point. Let me think. No! I blasted down, causing another explosion, which killed the human and destroyed the car. In the destruction was the next Sculk fragment, but something was wrong. It was broken. No! Just then, I felt my warden senses go off again, as I saw a large, skulky mech flying up high in the air.
This mech is running purely off of Sculk energy. System check is all good. Heading back home.
That person stole our power? I began to blast up into the air, trying to knock down the mech. But because of this, he took notice.
What the? It's here! Guess I have time for a few more tests.
The mech then swooped down and fired off blasts all around me, using his speed to his advantage. Yeah! I tried to swipe him down, but he backed off and began to fly away.
Come get me, you freak!
Hey, give it back! On days 40 to 44, I rushed after the mech as the man flew across a parking lot.
Wait, what is that? Ah!
I gotta slow this monster down. Aha!
The mech then shot out an electric pulse at a nearby generator, causing all of the streetlights to brighten and shoot out electricity. Ah!
Don't worry, folks. I'm here to save you. Oh no. We're all going to die!
way!
I began to blast out at the lights, destroying them as I moved towards the flying mech. As I got close though, the mech let out a sonic boom right at me. And as I was hit, it completely overwhelmed my senses.
Ha ha! How about a taste of your own medicine?
However, as he said this, his mech started to malfunction and fall to the ground.
Whoa! This still needs some improvements. We'll meet again, monster! Then this mech will take you down for good!
I went to stop him from flying away, but the electricity in the area shocked me again. I quickly blasted out at the generator, finally destroying it. But as I turned, I saw that the man used this opportunity to fly away. No!
Calm yourself. We must approach this ignorant fool in a different way. Now, follow him.
I listened to the voice's words and quietly swam out into the water after the mech. On days 45 to 47, I kept an eye on the mech in the sky and followed it through the bay to a large tower in the city.
Don't show yourself yet. We must be patient.
I listened to my voice and stayed low in the water and used my enhanced senses to listen in.
Your creation has performed wonderfully, sir. The military will be quite happy with it.
Not so fast. I still need to run a few tests. I can't sell them a faulty product.
Oh no, they're giving that mech to the military. I have to stop them. I was about to rush in, but the voice in my head stopped me.
Patience. There is no telling what other technology that man has in the tower. We need to flush him out somehow.
I looked around and noticed that nearby was a very lively amusement park. Maybe a few minions by my side would help get his attention. I blasted the human, converting him into one of my parasites. And as I did, the entire park went into panic. Ha ha ha! Fear me! The humans all began to scatter, while my minions and I rushed in to make another one. My minion cut off someone trying to escape.
Please, I just came here for a corn dog.
I guess today's just not your day. With another minion under my control, we looked around again, but there wasn't a soul in sight. I need one more. Find them! My minions began to tear through the fair, destroying any hiding spots they could find. But that's when my senses heard someone. Perfect! I went over and was about to blast out an attack when the human threw out something that hit me in my eye. This caused me to miss my attack and blast into the base of the Ferris wheel. Yeah! Why, you little runt! I angrily corrupted the final human, and with 3 under my command, I was ready to flush out the Sculk mech. On days 48 to 52, my minions and I were making our way back to the Billionaire's Tower when we were suddenly ambushed by the deadly military mechs from before.
Your reign of terror ends here, monster. Fire at will!
They all began to shoot down at me with their light beams, weakening me with every hit. No! Stop them! On my command, my Sculk minions rushed out and began to fight back against them. Before, we would have stood no chance against their attacks, but now I was much stronger.
What? No! No!
One remained and stood across from me in the courtyard. He went to fire again, but I got off my attack first. Sculk tendrils exploded below him as my Sculk infection spread all throughout the area, completely taking it over. Seems my reign of terror is far from over. My minions and I finally headed over to the base of the large tower, where the Sculk mech sat at the very top. All right, it's time to take back my power. Now go, get me that mech. My minions obeyed my command as they began to rush into the base of the tower.
What the? Yeah!
Hey, what are you?
Ah! Music to my ears!
That power is as good as ours. But as I said this, I watched as an explosion burst from the top, and my minions came flying down. What the? I looked up to see the man had jumped back onto his mech and came flying down.
I knew this was your doing. You'll die by my hands!
On days 53 to 56, I began to fight against the Sculk mech as it used its speed to fly around me, blasting out its intense attacks. I tried to knock him out of the sky, but I got hit with another Sculk blast, which completely disoriented me.
We need to draw him in now!
I'm trying! Hooray!
to the boat!
Huh? I looked over just in time to see a few people running to escape the area on the boat, which gave me an idea. Oh, look! You wouldn't let these poor civilians die, would you? I blasted out towards the boat, completely destroying it. What? Oh no! Help! Help us!
Hang on, you poor civilians! I'm coming!
The man tried to fly over in his mech to help the civilians, and as he did, I used this opportunity to hit him head on with my beam. Because of this, something began to happen to the mech.
What? No, not now!
The machine began to spark and malfunction as it fell into the water. Now's my chance. On days 57 and 59, I rushed into the bay and bit into the Sculk mech as I started to steal back my power.
No!
The infection spread within me again as I began to upgrade. I gained 5 more hearts and now had a stronger plain tail that I could slam into my enemies with.
Sir, what do we do?
Activate self-destruct. It's the only way.
What? The mech began to flash as its core charged up a final explosion. I gotta get out of here. But as I swam out further into the bay, Godzilla rose up, blocking my path.
You're not going anywhere!
He charged in and began to hit me back, keeping me within range of the mech. No! No! I swiped out at Godzilla with my tail, knocking him away. But with this distance, he was able to charge up his atomic breath and sent me flying back next to the mech. I tried to run, but it was already too late. The mech exploded, hitting me head on. Ah! And because of this, I passed out. On days 60 to 63, I woke up on top of a glacier? What the? Where am I?
I've taken you far away from the city and all its people to die here in the cold.
He charged up another atomic breath to finish me off. So I quickly hit him with my tail to push him back. This caused his attack to miss and shoot into the glacier below me, sending me falling inside. Ah!
So long, Parasite. The cold will kill you soon enough.
I landed down in the cold reaches of the glacier. Ah, he's right. I need to get out of here. I began to rush through the tunnel, looking for any way to escape. Huh, what's that doing here? I then found a light coming through one of the cave walls and saw that the ice was the thinnest it was here. I can break out. I began to slam into it and blasted it with my infection, shaking the whole cavern. But because of this, I began to hear something moving around me. Huh? I turned around to see that my destruction had caused a group of ancient Yeti to come out. Oh, great! On days 64 to 68, the Yetis rushed in and began to blast me with their freezing attacks. I was already cold enough, and with their combined hits, I was starting to freeze. No! I blasted out wildly, doing everything I could to take them down, but more and more Yetis leapt out of hiding. Thankfully though, with a combination of my tail and beam, I was able to hold them at bay and finally take out the last one.
Wretched creatures! They should never have crawled out of hiding!
Tell me about it. Suddenly, a large burst of ice exploded behind me. I looked over and noticed that it revealed the outside. What the? Why did it break down? I walked out to see a frozen sea, and out in the water was an infected ship?
Finally, I'm free!
What the? Did my powers awaken you? But it didn't answer, as it began to fire its artillery at me. On days 69 to 73, I had to dodge around the ice to avoid being exploded by the infected ship. Hey, don't make me put you back in the ice!
I'm never going back!
He was extremely fast in the water and made it impossible to get in close. All right, that's enough! I summoned my Sculk tendrils in the water, corrupting it into Sculk blocks, which trapped the ship.
What? No! I have to make the humans pay for what they've done!
Wait, that's what you want?
Humans left me here to rot! I will make them regret ever forgetting me.
I slowly got closer and broke the Sculk that was holding him. Well, you and me have very similar goals then. Wanna make them pay together? The infected agreed and formally joined my team. With his help, we made our way back to the city when we came across a nuclear power plant. My warden senses began to activate as I looked over and saw that the factory held the final Sculk fragment at its center. On days 74 to 77, the infected ship stayed behind in the water as I went up to the factory. You're all mine! I tried to slam into the dome holding my fragment, but surprisingly, it wouldn't budge. Ah! What did they make this out of? I then looked around at all of the silos around me. It may be able to stop me, but what about a nuclear meltdown? I began to charge around the factory, destroying everything in my path. My beams would cut through the silos as the ground began to rumble and pools of nuclear waste formed around the area. I watched as all of them began to burn everything, including the dome around the fragment. Just a little bit more. But as I said this, I heard a voice ring out from the factory.
Radiation level detected. Activating cooldown system.
Huh? Suddenly, strange machines appeared around the area and began to produce freezing cold wind to cool down the factory. Oh no you don't! I rushed over to the closest one and slammed down onto it. But as I tried to rush over to the other, its freezing cold air began to slow me down.
I've got it!
The infected ship launched off some of his cannons at the machine, breaking it just in time. After destroying more of the factory, I was able to have enough of it corroded, which caused the dome to break open. But before I could run up and grab it, I heard heavy footsteps running towards me.
You lived? I guess I'll just have to kill you myself!
On days 78 to 80, Godzilla came running in, using his atomic breath to shove me back into the waste. Ah! I tried to fight back, but as I did, Godzilla was absorbing the radiation, which made him grow stronger.
You really messed up now.
His attacks were even more powerful and began to bring my health extremely low. However, missiles slammed down from above and pushed him back.
Hold on! I'll cover you!
I looked over and saw that the infected ship had began to fire his artillery from the water line, giving me an opening. Just keep him back! I rushed for the Sculk fragment, knowing that it was the only way I could defeat Godzilla.
Oh, no you don't!
He unleashed another powerful attack, pushing me back into more waste. But just before I was taken down, I reached out and touched the fragment.
Yes! Yes!
On days 81 to 85, the power of the final Sculk fragment empowered the infection all throughout my body. As I began to upgrade, I gained even more hearts and became the most powerful entity in the world. Godzilla rushed in to attack again, but with my new strength, I was now able to put up a fight against him. His radiation actually began to empower me.
What? No!
In my newly upgraded form, I could now absorb the radiation into my body as it began to course through me in a new attack. Who's the apex predator now? I unleashed all the energy at once, sending out a massive Sculk nuke. My infection completely took over the area as the blast took down Godzilla for good. We did it!
That's what I'm talking about! Nothing can stop us now!
That's right! Now go! Spread our infection to the city, and then the entire world!
On days 86 to 90, after leaving the nuclear factory in ruins, I made my way back to the Sculk Infected cave under the city.
You did it! This world won't know what hit him!
Right, but first, I need to absorb more of this infection, and I think I know just how to do it. I went to the center of the cave, and as I did, I began to pull in all of the Sculk around me. This caused my eyes to flash as I was pulled into a vision. My eyes opened as I was now in a strange void-like space.
You have done great work.
What's that? Are we in my head?
This is I, your inner self. And you have done well to feed me. But still hunger. I hunger for more!
I know, and we will have it. We will have the world.
Yes, yes, we will.
Sculk tendrils started to appear all around me as more and more infection started to swell within my body. Ha ha ha! My vision then flashed as I could see down above the military outpost as they were all gathering together.
Brothers, men, this infection has gone on long enough. Do you want to go back to your families?
Yes, sir!
Do you want the sun to shine another day?
Yes, sir!
Do you want to blow this monster up from the inside out?
Yes, sir!
General, the city has been evacuated. Everything is loaded up and ready to roll out on your command.
Well, then that's exactly what we're gonna do. And I need each of you to stand with me. Are you with me?
Yes, sir!
Men, stand your ground! Push it back!
Sir, it's too much! Our radar indicated its source is coming from the center of the city!
Air Force, get me visual!
Yes, sir.
Mix, wait for my signal to engage the beast! Everyone else, follow me! Let's end this!
On days 95 to 98, I burst out from under the city center and began to spread my infection all throughout it. Ha ha! But as I did, the Air Force started to fly in.
This is it, man. Take them down.
They flew around me, firing at me with everything they had. But I was far too powerful now. I slammed them out of the air with my tail, and any that tried to fly away, I shot down easily with my Sculk beam. More explosives started to rain in though, as a line of tanks began to barrage me with missiles. Ah! So annoying!
I got him!
The infected ship's artillery came crashing down, exploding the group of tanks before they knew what hit them. I then looked over and watched as a group of soldiers were being distracted by the infected bike.
Stop moving!
Can't catch me! Oh, so close!
I looked over just in time to see the military general on a rooftop.
You think you still have the upper hand, beast? You'll never take our city! Operation Big Man is a go!
Suddenly, a massive military mech dropped down into the center of the city.
Destroy every last piece of this abomination!
With pleasure.
On day 99, the kaiju-sized mech charged up his light beam attack. Oh no! It shot out, carving right into me as I dodged to the side. Alright, two can play at that game. I let out my infected beam, striking the mech back, and I could tell we were evenly matched in power. We continued to trade blows as I tried to get in close with my tail, but I just kept getting blasted back.
Hold on! We're with you!
Coming in!
Artillery started to rain down from above, crashing down onto the mech and disorienting it. The infected bike also began to layer on attacks as it drove across the rooftops.
Take that, you oversized microwave!
Oh, come here, you little runt!
The mech shot out another beam, destroying the building my friend was on.
Yeah!
No! Rage built up inside me as I rushed up and finally took down the giant mech with my tail. Hey, are you alright?
I'm alright. Might just need some new air in these tires.
I was then suddenly struck by another attack from the side. Yeah! I looked over and saw that on a far rooftop was the military general, staring me down with a massive turret.
Come at me, you monster! Oh, this is going to be fun!
On day 100, I rushed towards the army general as his powerful turret began to unload a barrage of attacks towards me. I began to try and move through the surrounding buildings for cover, but my massive size just caused them to crumble with a single hit. That's not good. My size made me an easy target for the turret, which was actually dealing tons of overwhelming damage.
We must get close! We must devour him!
I'm trying! I began to shoot out my infection, trying to take him down, but his armor was completely resistant to my attacks.
You think I wasn't ready for that? You think I'm a fool?
He continued to unload attacks on me, causing me to be pushed back. Ugh! Ah! That's it! I shot another beam, but this time, I struck a nearby skyscraper, causing the rubble to fall down on top of him.
No!
The general leapt down into the city streets and began to run. Oh, you're scared now? I unleashed my Sculk tentacles at his feet, causing him to be trapped in place.
Ah! You think this is the end? Humans will never stop fighting! Someone will find a way to kill you!
Not if I corrupt you all first! And with that, I unleashed the most powerful Sculk beam I could directly onto the general, finally taking him down for good. With the military finally defeated, the world will now be infected by my Sculk.